Tri-tip pastrami, one. Greetings and welcome back to the Galley of the Sun. So a couple years ago, one of our earliest videos was making pastrami, and it turned out absolutely fantastic. Now typically, pastrami is made from brisket. So when you do it that way, brisket's pretty damn thick, so turns in basically to a 9-day process. Sometimes you decide on a Wednesday that I want pastrami on Sunday. So you could do the brisket method and then cut it in half, but then that's going to mess with the cooking and you're going to have smaller slices, and what a mess. Well, what if we made it out of tri-tip? We've also done some fantastic tri-tip episodes. We did a Brazilian tri-tip. We've done a tri-tip on our Ninja Woodfire grill. We've made tri-tips 2 ways, our favorite way and a different one. All of those have turned out to be fantastic dishes. But I think this is going to be even better. And we're going to do something special with some of this, well, I say pastrami. Some of it's going to be pastrami. Some of it's not going to make it to the smoker. Now, normally, if you brine some beef and then you boil it or steam it, you have corned beef. If you take that same brine beef and you smoke it, you have pastrami. I've got some crazy thoughts in my head for something different to do with some of this, but regardless, no matter what happens, I've got to make the brine first. So I am doing 6 tri-tips today. It comes out to about 15 pounds. As always, down below in the description are all the ingredients, their amounts, and the instructions. However, it's a little different this time. What I recommend you do is figure out how much meat that you want to use. Then you're going to go to AmazingRibs.com. You're going to look up their recipe for Cat's Deli pastrami. And there's a calculator there. You can put in the thickness of your beef and how much, and it's going to tell you exactly how much of 3 very important ingredients to put in. Those 3 ingredients are water, Prague powder number 1, the pink stuff, and salt. So if you don't get that right, then you may not get your meat fully cured, or you could end up with it way too salty. So use that calculator. But the other 3 ingredients that are going in our brine, you can pretty much eyeball those. If you're doing half as much water as me, then use half as much as it says down the recipe. But it isn't a 1-for-1 ratio on the water, the salt, and the Prague powder, so make sure you use that calculator. All right, so 3 3/4 gallons water, 3 3/4 cups kosher salt, about 2.6 tablespoons of the Prague powder, and then we're going to put in about 10 smashed garlic cloves, 4 tablespoons of brown sugar, and about 10 tablespoons of pickling spices. I'm going to return this to the stove and cook it just long enough to get the salt to dissolve. We don't want to put our meat into hot liquid. We don't want to stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning waiting for it to cool. So we're going to heat it the minimum we need to get that salt to dissolve. And we'll see you after I have that done. Well, we got the salt dissolved in the brine, and it's just about at room temperature, so I'm pretty happy with that. The noises you hear in the background, if you do hear noises, is the director frantically clearing out room in one of our refrigerators for this giant thing. Now, if you do a lot of smoking, a lot of barbecue, a lot of marinating, these things are invaluable. You get them from allthingsbarbecue.com. Absolutely great. So, we're going to take our 6 tri-tips and chuck them in there. All right, so normally when you're using something like this, you're doing marinades or whatever, you're just gonna put enough on there to make sure all the meat's covered. In this case, oh nay nay moose breath, because we wanna make sure we have the right concentrations of everything in there, the ratio of the water to the meat. I know, of course, if I take a cup of that, it's gonna have the same ratios of the salt to water to Prague powder, but we are also worried about the ratio of the meat to the brine. So you need the whole freaking thing. So here we go. Nothing bad could possibly happen when I do this. Just to make sure nothing bad happens, I'm going to have the director hold this as I pour the 3.75 gallons of water, now brine. It smells amazing into here.
Why don't you do something even smarter?
Oh, she's going to have me dip it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a dipper.
Get the big one.
All right, cooler heads have prevailed. It's not nearly as fun as dumping this whole freaking thing in here.
But a heck of a lot cleaner.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. If there was ever a time to fast forward. Woo! Just enough.
Who was right?
All right. Not that we need it, but an awesome feature of this bucket, since it's freaking full, is this plate here. There's ridges on the side, goes down, locks, keeps the meat underneath the marinade if you're using just enough. We got plenty. So, it is Wednesday night. This is going to stay in my refrigerator till Sunday afternoon. Every day, I'm going to go in there and agitate it. Not the same way I agitate the director, but different. So, next time you see us, it'll be Sunday, and we'll be doing a very important step. I read a lot of people that have made their own pastrami and their own bacon, and one of their comments is, it's too salty. It's because they're missing a very, very important step. You'll see it next. So here we are on pastrami day. The tri-tips have been in the brine Wednesday night, all of Thursday, all of Friday, all of Saturday, and it's Sunday morning now. Need to do a couple things. First of all, same thing you would do with if you were doing this with brisket or you were making bacon. Anytime you have a meat and a brine in a long time, it's going to be very, very salty. So to draw some of that salt out, I have 2 pots of water back here behind me. I'm going to take the meat out, put it in the first pot of water, let it set for an hour, and then I'm going to transfer it to the second pot of water and let it sit in there for an hour. Why do I have them already ready? Because Arizona tap water is notoriously not very good taste-wise. So I had to use my RO unit to get that water together, and it takes a while to get it done. So I'm going to get the meat in there, and also we need to get making our rub. As I said before, all of the ingredients, their amounts, descriptions are down below because there's a lot here. What I have here is some black peppercorns, some coriander seeds, and some mustard seeds. Now these, I'm not going to grind them into a powder, otherwise I just would use powder for all these, or ground. But I'm going to break them up a little bit so we don't have those huge chunks in there. This is very, very important for pastrami. A hallmark pastrami, besides being smoked, is that incredible rub that you put on the outside. All right, our partially broken up seeds go into a bowl, and then along with that goes black pepper, coriander powder, brown sugar, smoked paprika, onion powder and garlic powder, and mustard powder. So we'll get all that mixed together, and we'll come back to you after the meat has been sitting in the water for 2 hours. See you then. Got the tri-tips out of the water. I've got 6 of them here. 2 of them are going into bags into the freezer for a future episode. We're gonna do something very special with those. Very special.
You're special.
I'm special.
Very special.
Alrighty, these last 4 are gonna become pastrami. So I'm gonna get these all laid out, get them patted dry as best I can, and then we're gonna apply the rub. Now I'm going to go about medium heavy on this because brisket much thicker, the rub to meat ratio different. I don't want it to be light, but I don't want it to be too crazy heavy. All right, I'm gonna give that a couple minutes to tack up, then we'll flip them, get the other side done. Then it's out to the smoker that I have preheating right now to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll see you then. Got the Yoder YS640 set to 250 degrees. I got my meter probes in each one of my tri-tips here. Let's get them on. We're going to take those to about 160 degree internal temperature. So I'm guessing it's going to take about 2.5 to 3 hours. I'll let you know. We'll see you then. So it took about 3 hours to bring these up to 160 degrees. The director has expertly carved the first one. So let's find out if this is worth a damn or not. And get the director's judgment.
Very tender. Not too salty. Nice flavor. You can't tell that it's tri-tip.
Fantastic, there you go. Make sure you do that desalination like we did for 2 hours. Otherwise, the salt will be overwhelming. But if you do that, it's gonna come out great. Hey, thank you so much for joining us today. And until we see you next time, fair winds and following seas. There we go. On. Tri-tip pastrami 666.